Happy holidays. What's going on, guys? Since they don't light up, I have to kind of animate them myself. What's going on? I'm Bill DeWeese. Welcome to my daily voiceover huddle, a chance to get together to talk a little voiceover, where I like to share tips, tricks, strategies, things to help you move further down the road to voiceover success. I've been doing this full time for 18 years. I've been a voiceover coach for 15 years now, as of this month. And we're in a couple of books. You might want to check out my latest, Get Paid Using Your Voice, Get Found, Get Heard, Get Hired. There's a link below in the description. Wanted to let you know, and that's partly why I'm wearing this, to kind of give emphasis to the fact that we are in our 12 days of Christmas promotion. Today is day 2. Every one of the 12 days, there is a special deal on some special training. And it's like, yeah, it's like the library that we have. It's not just my training. There's my training, and there's training from some of our other training partners. And it's cool. It's really, I mean, it's really good stuff, and it's really cheap right now. But each day is one day only, and the deal's only good until midnight Pacific time that day. So check out today's training deal, and just go below in the description, and you can check that out. If I seem a little out of it, I apologize. I'm going to do my best to muddle through here this morning. I was late night last night. I had a session with a studio in Saudi Arabia, and so they needed to do. I mean, obviously they're on the other side of the world. So I was up. It was past midnight last night, and it was and I hadn't slept much the night before, so it was just kind of building on to those kind of things. And I probably needed to get a lot of sleep this weekend just to catch up. But it was a session where there were like six, I think, six people on the session altogether. But some sessions are very much focused on the voiceover only. It's like script's ready, everything's ready to roll. Let's get the voiceover talent to read it, get the feedback, get the takes. We're done. The script was just under 2 minutes long. Should have been done in 15 minutes under ideal circumstances. But this is one of those sessions, and this happens. And this is not a criticism. This is just how it happens sometimes. They'll use that time together to actually do the work of putting the audio to the video. Not only that, but sometimes editing the video to match the VO within the session and changing the script all at the same time. And that's what last night was. It was a combination of all of those. So it went over an hour, which again, I mean, it is what it is. But I was dying last night. I was so sleepy. It was I I would listen to the replays of the takes as they were listening, and I think, man, my mouth was just not working. They seem to be happy with it, and maybe it's because they don't speak English as a first language. Maybe I got by with some things I wouldn't get by with my regular clients. I don't know. But I guess being that I was up so late, maybe they need to give me a pass on that. But it all went fine. And by the way, I want to mention this. We use something called, I think I've mentioned once before using this. It's called Session Link Pro, and it's basically it's like Source Connect quality audio done in a browser. But the only clients that have ever used it with me would be clients outside of the US. I've got a client in Germany that I've done a Session Link Pro with, and then this client in Saudi Arabia. This would be the, I think, second time we've done a session using Session Link Pro. It's nothing you need to, you don't buy it, you don't need to buy it or go get it. I don't own it. It's just they sent me a link right before the session. I click the link and I patch in, and they can show video over it, and audio playback and all that kind of fun stuff. So anyhow, glad to have you here today. Are you ready for a great weekend? I hope so. Here at the DeWeese house, where it's very festive. Vicky has been working tirelessly. What she does, she's very meticulous. That's one of her gifts. And it's one of the reasons I have to know when to walk away and when to hang around, because I'm not as meticulous. And so I let her know that I am there to help and support in any way that I can. But sometimes she just likes to play with things, and she'll put up this decoration and do some other things and then come back and think, nah, I don't want it there. So she's been doing that for the past few days, staying up very late doing it. But man, everything it's killer. She does fantastic decoration. Really, really good stuff. Hey, today's Q&A day, by the way, guys, if you have questions, throw them up in the live chat, and I'll take a handful of those. I may not be able to get to all of them, but I'll take what I can. The way you can help make sure that everybody gets as many questions answered as possible, is make your questions as succinct as you can. Do one question, make it succinct. I'll give you a succinct answer, and we'll just kind of keep things moving. And by the way, I see the likes coming in. Thank you. When you click that thumbs up button, YouTube shares this with more people who are looking for good voiceover information. So thanks for doing your part to spread the word, get out, good voiceover information to those who need it. John, in Denver, thanks for checking in. Rusty, what's going on in the UP of Michigan? Just bought Kayla's update. Fantastic. Awesome. And by the way, that is available through, I believe, tonight, midnight. So check it out if you haven't. Jim, good morning to you in Greenville, Indiana. Phil in Tokyo. Ron in Grand Haven. All the Michiganders in here today. Colin in Houston. Nephi in Knoxville. Zach in Fargo, North Carolina. What's up, Paul in Arkansas? Good morning, Jason in Nebraska. So grateful to be here with all of you and making money doing something that I love. Well, big amen to that. Aaron in Linden, Washington. John, Rhinebeck, New York. Edward says, happy Friday from New York City. Keith, checking in from Renton, Washington. Terry in Falston, Maryland. Rick in Minneapolis. GS in Longview. Let's see here. Asheville. Toronto. Yes, TGIF. Nancy in Yankton, South Dakota. Becky, checking in from the Mitten. Any advice on how to sound ominous? Ominous is something, I don't know that I've ever done ominous in voiceover, but you can certainly do it, I think, easily enough. I think the best reference for that is Liam Neeson from the very first Taken movie, the first in that, I think it's a trilogy of movies, where his daughter's been kidnapped and he goes to the apartment where she was taken from and finds a telephone and was able to call the kidnapper. And he has a little spiel, which has become famous now. That is the best example of ominous that I can think of. It's ominous as a tone. It's an attitude of something bad is about to happen. You have not exploded into action yet, be it verbally or physically, but you want to let the person know that you are capable of doing great damage. He picks up the telephone and says something about, and it's almost a very relaxed, confident. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want. If you want money, I can tell you I don't have any. But what I do have is a particular set of skills, and I make life miserable for people like you or something like that. But it's almost seething. It's low, and it's confident. It's low, slow, and confident. It's the simmer right before you get to the boil. The simmer before you get to the boil. It's the anticipation that something bad is about to happen. You're about to unleash. So if you go to YouTube and just search Liam Neeson, particular set of skills, you'll find the clip up there. That's the best example I can think of. And Becky, be careful how you use that. You might scare some people. Joe, what's going on? Fantastic Friday to you in the UK. Roger. TGIF from Los Angeles. Steve in Santa Rosa, California. Good morning. Hey, Jim, what's up in Memphis? Andrew in Latvia. Yesterday had some snow. All right. While Vicky was doing her thing here, and I was I couldn't go to bed because I had the session to do last night. I went out and drove around. We had some snow yesterday, and I drove around and looked at some Christmas lights, and that was fun. Snow makes it all the more special, don't you think? Kirk in Greenville, South Carolina. We've got Don in South Africa. Do you accept voiceover demos? So simple and works so well. I reached out to some indie animation studios, and though they said they aren't casting now, I can send my reel. Way to go. See that Don did. He heard the advice and he used it, and guess what? It worked. It does work. It works like magic. I've got an email sitting in my inbox right now where somebody responded to where I asked that question, and it was a one word. The response was yes with an exclamation mark. So now I just need to say, great, so I'll send my demos over. It's easy peasy. And of course, that doesn't mean you're going to get booked for a job right away, but what it does do is it gets you in the system, gets you on the radar. And that's the first step in all of this. You got to get on somebody's radar. Let's see here. It's Rachel. How are you doing in Dorset, UK? Our UK numbers are growing, guys. I love that. Spencer, what's going on in Houston? Would I recommend a DIY demo until you can afford a pro version? Yeah, I do. I advocate for that. As a matter of fact, I have a training program on that. If you go to builddeweeselive.com/programs, I've got a training that I've done specifically on that to teach you how to do that because, and let me just be clear, nothing is going to work nearly as well as a pro demo. I mean, I think that's a given, and I'm sure you understand that because we're trying to create opportunities, and a demo is produced in such a way to create an impact. But the DIY demo can work, and it can help to get you work earlier on so you can start generating money so you can save up the money required to do the demo. So absolutely you can. And I highly recommend it. Andrew, what's going on? Upwork update was great. Yes. Yeah. Kayla does a great job. Rusty says, I have a question. I don't have a shotgun mic. Should that hold me back from putting together a demo for TV and radio affiliate stuff? Oh, no, 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 no. Hey, I do radio imaging and TV affiliate work. I don't use a shotgun mic. I know, and I know what you're about to say. You're saying, well, yeah, but they say that you really need one. Well, what I'll say is this. I think most promo people use them. They're used extensively in promo work. The client has no idea what kind of microphone you're using. I do affiliate work. As a matter of fact, I have an affiliate session after we're done here. I've been using this mic for that for 5 years, maybe 6 years or so. I've done tons of radio imaging work, that microphone. So it's more about the sound you can create as opposed to the microphone that you use. But I understand why you're asking it, Rusty. But I wouldn't stress over that. It certainly hasn't held me back. Wayne, what's going on in Port Orchard, Washington? Good morning, Monty in Chile, South Carolina. Kara, good morning in Florida. And if it's Cara, please forgive me. Rob in Las Vegas. I hope you still have some money left, Rob. Las Vegas is one of my, I love Vegas. If I could get Vicky to go more often, I would. It's been a few years since we've been out there. It's, just so much cool stuff. Blue Man Group was a highlight for us. There's Blue Man Group in Chicago, but all the years we've lived here, we never went to see them. We went to Vegas, and that's where we saw them. But a lot of good food to eat. We usually have like a $20 gambling budget, and hit the low, like the penny type slots, and it's our entertainment. And believe me, we never walk home with more money than we go. David, what's going on in Hamilton, Ontario? Beckett says, would you agree with the simplistic view of the difference between corporate and conversational? Is that conversational is usually spoken faster with less enunciation? Well, first of all, you can't pick corporate against conversational. Corporate is it's like a niche. It's like promos, commercials, corporate, e-learning. Conversational is a style. You could speak conversationally, like I'm speaking to you now. You could do it in a commercial. You can do that in e-learning. It might be appropriate for certain, corporate type things, maybe even in promos. So there are two different categories. Again, corporate being the larger umbrella, the niche, and then there's conversational, there's authoritative, there's, and those are styles or types of reads, and they can be applied under any umbrella, any niche. Sandra from Old Worthington, Ohio. Good to see you, Sandra. Denise, what's up in Long Island? On Long Island. Rocky, what's happening in Rocky Top? He's looking forward to that Tennessee-Ohio State game. Yeah, it should be great. So I was listening to some sports radio last night, and people talking about how insane. Of course, this is somebody who doesn't live in Columbus, talking about how insane and kind of ridiculous the whole rivalry has been elevated with Ohio State and Michigan. And maybe, it is kind of pretty much war. But the thing is, if you're in Ohio State, like right now, honestly, if they won the national championship, I wouldn't be impressed because they lost to Michigan. If you're Michigan, you can't lose to Ohio State. And if you're Ohio State, you can't lose to Michigan, because if it does, it stains the rest of the year. It's like, this year especially, how could you lose to Michigan and then go out and win a national championship? It doesn't even make sense. And Michigan would always know they beat the team. They beat us anyhow, so they still have bragging rights. So it would be a hollow victory at best, at least for me. Not that I don't want them to win it, sure. I might even watch it. I don't know. We'll see. I might watch the Tennessee Ohio State game, and if they make it, up through the playoffs and the national championship. We'll see. We'll see. Yolanda in Las Vegas. Mike, good morning. How do you keep your original VO files in case you need pickups later? Yeah, always keep your. I learned that the hard way. Always keep your original files. I just every project I do, I save. I use Dropbox. So I've got a folder on my computer under which I put all my clients by name. I've got, I don't know, probably hundreds of those in there right now. And when I do a project for a client, I save the file into the client. When I do a project, I save the file into the client folder. Since it's through Dropbox, that's automatically synced to the cloud. So it's automatically backed up. I don't lose it. And audio files are, I use a 2 terabyte hard drive. And I've had computers with smaller hard drives. I've never run out of room on the computer. And if you do, you can always use an external hard drive. But yeah, that's how I do it. Adam, good morning to you in Western Massachusetts. Oh, and how long? I'm sorry, Mike. How long do I keep and I keep them. I mean, I've got a stack of old external hard drives going back to the very beginning of my career. So I basically keep it all. I don't keep it all on the same computer. Whenever I update to a new computer, oftentimes I'll get a new, I'll back up to a new external drive. So it's in the cloud on my external drives and on my computer. Adam in Western Massachusetts. Marla in Texas says, buy the book. Thank you, Marla. Jerry in Dallas, Texas. Jim, what's going on in Anderson, South Carolina? Still fighting the radio voice. Jim, I hear you. I hear you, brother. I'm still fighting it too. I mean that in all sincerity. I'm not trying to just make you feel good. I do. And sometimes I actually need it. Yesterday, I did a project it's a new client that and by the way, I got this client through Voice Over Marketing Pro. Check them out, vomarketingpro.com. Todd Barsness, he was one of the very first students I ever had years and years ago. The guy makes an incredible living now in voiceover and now has a company that he and his sons run where they do direct marketing for voiceover talent. And I hire them. I pay them to do all my direct marketing. And one of those clients, point being that I had a client yesterday that I originally got through these guys, VO Marketing Pro. And it's for Maloof's in Lubbock, Texas. And it's a clothing store. And everything is really hyped and really, it harkens back to my radio days. It's exhausting work. I had a 60-second and a 30-second, and I needed a nap after that because everything had to be super fast. And so it was like, what, $6.99, now $2.99, was $5.98, now only $49. It was one of those kind of things. And so being in radio all those years, over 20 years, that really helped me with those kind of things. But number one, I prefer not to do a lot of that kind of work because it's exhausting work. And typically that work doesn't pay as well as the work where you can be more conversational. So, but that being said, I still have to be very conscious and work at it. So hang in there, Jim, hang in there. It's hard to fight. Once you kind of that DNA gets locked in, and it does after a number of years in radio, it's, you'll always want to default back to that. You just always have to be, aware of it. Professor Tracy from Rochester checking in. Hope you're staying warm in Minnesota, Tracy. Is there a payment system that works better for voiceover? I don't know that I would say there's one specific to voiceover that works better, but I use FreshBooks. They don't pay me to say that. So, we've used Quicken, and that's fine. And we use FreshBooks. I think I pay like $39 a month for that. And what Mallory does on my invoicing, my daughter, is that it's all email based. So it generates, she can create an invoice. It generates an email with the invoice to the client, and then the client can pay right there, click for PayPal or, whatever, and or mail me a check, which is fine as well. Roger says, in a live session, is it okay to have your camera turned off? Yeah, it is. Like if you're using Zoom or something like that. Yeah, I usually last night I had my camera off for that session. I'm trying to think. What I wanted to say was this, that usually I do have my camera on, not that you need to, and oftentimes the client won't, but what I turn it on because I want them to know that I'm actually a voiceover talent work, that I'm in the studio. I'm hoping that by saying acoustic foam and a microphone, they're like, oh, okay, yeah, this guy, he has a real studio. But if you don't have something that you think communicates that visually, then just keep your camera off. I've never had somebody who asked me to have it on. Aaron in Columbia, Missouri. Hello, Kirk. Average turnaround time if I hire you to produce my demo. Cost up charge and added time for video demo. Thanks. I don't do the video part of it. It's a 2-week process from beginning to end. And if you want more information on that, reach out to Mallory at BillDeweese.com. Mallory, she coordinates and schedules all that stuff, and we'll send you information and send you demos that we've produced and all that kind of stuff. So Mallory, Mallory at BillDeweese.com. Samuel, what's going on in Baton Rouge? Joy and cloudy, frozen Southfield, Michigan. It's 16 degrees. Yeah, Burr, that's cold. Timothy, good morning to you in Altoona. Corey in Whitehall, Wisconsin. Dale, a gloomy, gray, good afternoon from some damp garden, Grome, trudging along. That's great. In the UK. Happy weekend to you. As UK, I would say the UK is now in third place in terms of volume of people the number of people that are showing. We have 100 people on the stream right now, by the way. There's exactly 100. There's a sweet sound of voiceover success. Not just the first time that we've hit it, but it's always a big deal when we do. And thank you again for the half of you, almost exactly half of you have liked the video. I appreciate that. The UK, obviously US would be first just because I'm US based and that's kind of where it all started, followed by Canada and UK right there. But your numbers are growing. So, who knows? Maybe you guys can bump into second place here before long. Unless our Canadian friends have something to say about that. Amanda. How you doing, Mandy? Frigid, Chester Springs, Pennsylvania. Hey, Michael. Mary Happy from the pumpkin capital of the world, Morton, Illinois. I thought you were going to say Circleville, Ohio, the home of the pumpkin show. I didn't realize Morton was the pumpkin capital of the world. Or maybe there are a couple of them. I don't know. I grew up, 20, 30 minutes away from a little town called Circleville. And I've seen them like on Good Morning America and stuff. Like, during the Circleville Pumpkin Show. It's like I only went like once my entire life, but I guess it's a pretty big deal. I need to check out Morton. I'm sure it's a good time. Andrew, I have to work on the weekend. At least it's not a 13-hour shift. Well, yeah, at least there's that. Jess in Austin, Texas, thinking of upgrading my Blue Yeti to a Rode. Do you use this brand and recommend it? Well, I know Rode I've never used a Rode mic, but I know a lot of people who do, and they're certainly they're highly regarded in all aspects of vocal recording, whether it be music or voiceover. It's sunny but cold in Wadsworth, Ohio. Jerry says, on a dubbing project, I've seen English text that takes 5 seconds to read for 1 second of Chinese. How? Yeah, Jerry, I don't know. But yeah, it happens. I mean, I couldn't tell you how many projects I've received that are literally impossible to read. You can't possibly do it. And you got to go back to the client and say, here's what I do. I always record as fast as I can and say, here, it's taking me 5 seconds to do this in the 1 second you want it done. How do you want to handle this? Let them agonize over it. Matthew in Grand Rapids. What is your marketing rhythm for prospects that do not respond to your initial introduction email? I don't have a rhythm for them. I just move on. Here's the thing. The only people I keep track of are the people who respond back to me. So in other words, let's say I send out 1,000 emails over the course of a couple of weeks, let's just say. I'm not waiting around to see who responds to me. In other words, clearly most of them will never respond back to me. There's no rhythm to them. Maybe eventually I'll get back to them, but I'm going to keep going through. I mean, there's, probably like hundreds of thousands of video production companies in the world. I may never have time to get back to them. What I'm looking for are the few that respond back to me. They go in my database and those I stay in touch with. And then I have a rhythm for them. And that is at least once every 2 months to stay in contact. If you can do it monthly, all the better. Just give me a little email. Hey, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, Happy 4th of July, happy, and if they're a U.S. client. It could be any number of things. Hope your summer's going well, all that kind of stuff. Just benign little things you can do like that. It's Pegs from Phoenix, Arizona. Good to see you this morning. Jim, do you put much value in ACX's Audio Lab? And can anyone use it with any project? It makes for a good project. You know what? I know next to nothing about it. I've heard they have it. I've not used it. I don't. So from a firsthand perspective, that's something I really have nothing that I could add a value to the conversation. Sorry about that. Nancy, um, says, by the way, Zach from Fargo is North Dakota instead of North Carolina. Oh, yeah. Fargo would be North Dakota. Right. Okay. Gotcha. Chris in Baltimore. Good morning. Jeff from Roswell, New Mexico. Max in Las Vegas. If the first order you get on Fiverr cancels the job midway through, does that hurt the possibility of new orders in the future? Asking for a friend. Hey, Max, my understanding, well, it depends on why they canceled it. If they think you're a jerk and they hate you and they give you a bad review, probably yes. And I'm being silly, but I mean, the truth is, if they cancel for a reason because you're difficult and they tell them that, sure, that would hurt you. But just the fact that they canceled it, I don't believe it would. As long as it wasn't for a negative reason and they have nothing bad to say about you. Aaron, you might scare some people. Oh, talking about that ominous tone. I have a very particular set of skills. Okay, guys, so I can't get to all these. Let me just make this very quick. Colin mailing list. I just go to websites. I get them off the websites, emails. Blake, Houston, how you doing? Jim, what's going on? JR in Puerto Rico. Jim, hello. Aaron, good morning. Ken, hello there. Jerry, Aaron Baker, Harold. Thank you for the kind words. Hey, Jim. Let's see here. Jolie, J King, the Electric Master, Jerry, Jim, Colin. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Hope you have a great weekend, guys. I'll see you on Monday.